Alrighty, I think I'm live. I've just set this up myself and we're here today. I'm just going to be having a little bit of fun in the kitchen. It's Sunday, it's a bit overcast outside here. It's lockdown for a lot of us. So I thought I'd jump on and make some of the pasta from our new book, Slow Cook Keto. For anyone who hasn't got it, you can take notes and make it at home yourself. But otherwise, the book itself has recipes for croutons, lasagna pasta, the alphabet pasta, an ultimate dough, and some bagels. So today I'm actually just going to make the one dough, which is just for the lasagna pasta. And I'm just going to show you a few different ways that you can still use the same dough for a few different recipes very, very easily, very simple, and very quickly. Now I'm just going to check and see that I'm doing everything right and that I'm on live on here. Let me have a quick look on here so I can see any messages. Can somebody make a comment so I can just see if I can see your chat while we're live and answer any questions that might come up as well too. So today I will be doing the mixing. The dough itself can be made in a microwave over the heat. I'm going to do it in the Thermomix because it's just nice and easy. And for anyone who hasn't got a Thermomix, you're going to get a free demo. Just saying, I'm not associated with Thermomix. I don't sell them, so please don't think that this is something just for me to try and sell a machine. It's just a convenience tool, and I absolutely love it anyway. So today, yeah, it's going to be fun. Cooking a little bit of pasta. The beauty of this product, or not product, I keep saying all the wrong words. I must be nervous. I don't think so though. The beauty of making this pasta is that you can use it in so many different ways, and you're going to see just with a few tweaks, Stormy's in fine form already, how you can actually create completely different things with the same recipe. You will recognize it as a simple kind of fathead dough, but probably done in a way that you've never seen done before. I would say that I make one of the best fathead doughs all in the method. Stormy, shut up. In the method that I actually create the dough. And the way we're going to cook it today is just going to be something completely new. It's going to blow your mind, I'm sure. I haven't seen anything do this before like this, so hopefully these are all going to be astounded for those of you who haven't got the book. And those of you who have and haven't already made this, you are going to love it. I've got some tools here today. I don't even have to rest the dough, so we might even go through them first before I start playing with them. These are things that I have not got any affiliations with, but they're great things that you can find in your local cake stores. Big W for some of the things, any of the, House, Everton, Kitchen Warehouse, all of those different ones. Amazon is a great one. So I'm just going to show you a few things that you can use for doughs and pastries and stuff. So this one's called a pastry docker. I use this for my pizza bases, so even like our packet mix pizza or a fathead pizza crust. It actually puts like holes throughout the dough and allows it to grow and then expand within those holes and that as well too. It also allows a little bit of the fats to come out and the heat to be better dispersed. I find every bit of pastry that I bake in the oven, and today we're not even going to turn the oven on, works better with this one, right? So, and these are great for crackers too, so you can use these on your crackers. I've even just pulled out my most basic one that I bought from Amazon. I got a selection of quite a few different cake scrapers, dough cutters, scrapers, whatever you call them. This is what I cut all my fathead doughs or pastries with. Amazing product. I just have a basic spatula. This is a good one for the Thermomix because it scoops in. This is one of my newest tools. You're going to see some very fancy pies coming out soon with lattice. So I might even just show you a quick one today. You roll this across the dough and it gives you like the lattice shapes. Great for pie tops or wrapping over your sausage rolls and stuff and making them a little bit fancy. You may have seen on my stories recently, I actually put some over the top of bagels and they looked really good. That was just me testing it out. This is the new little set that I just got from Amazon. Again, just look up Amazon and find them. They're little pastry cutters all in different shapes. So I've got like little, I think they're octagons, little hexagons, rectangles, squares, triangles and stuff like that. These are great for making the pastry shapes. So if you want to make, say, little O's or something like that for the kids or yourself, making a bit of fun, that's a really good little kit. And this one's actually Cake Boss. I bought this one a few years ago. This is the alphabet that I use for the pasta in the cookbook. And you can cut out veggies and fruits and stuff like that with these as well too. You make a great little way to pretty up your foods. So I think these are available in a few different places, and I think Big Dub might have them as well for all our Aussies. But yeah, they're a great little one. Another little one I got off Amazon is our tortilla mold cutter. This one is a 16 centimeter one, so you can cut like perfect rounds. So this is a good one for wraps using this dough. I even used it in the slow cook keto for my lasagna. If you didn't notice, I actually cooked it into a pie tin, so I actually cut rounds. So when you see the picture that I've even posted earlier today, that was actually the lasagna pasta, not the wrap sheets. And another great one that I use is I have an oversized egg ring. So this is like bigger than your standard egg ring. So you could even put 2 eggs in this for anyone that likes, you know, have a bacon egg roll with 2 eggs. But what it is also good for cutting the pasta is cutting small rounds that are good for mugs, because you get that little bit of shrinkage, and then you can do like lasagnas in mugs, or, you know, a little pastry sandwich or toasties and stuff like that too. So you can think like with these, you can actually make this little pasta sheets that I'm going to show you today. Cut out a couple of these, they make great little toasties. So you can actually put them together, put them in your flat press. You probably can see mine behind me, and toast some little sandwiches and that with these as well. So they're just some basic tools that I've got in my kitchen that I use when I'm cutting any kind of keto pastry. For anyone that's got a Thermomix, one thing that you may not have noticed too is the top of your lid is also a cutter as well. So you can actually press that onto pastry and cut out perfect sheets of your tortillas, wraps or whatever, and you can push through the center and push it off. So that's a really good one as well. So I don't know if you've known that one before. I've shown that one before, but it's a nice little handy tip. But anyway, let's get into making this pastry. I'm not going to be on here all day, but I thought this might be a really good recipe that everyone can make at home. If you've got cheese and eggs as your fresh ingredients and the usual pantry items like baking powder, which most of you will know, I use a double acting, aluminium-free, gluten-free baking powder. It reacts within liquid and then it reacts under heat, so you get double the rise, which is fantastic with gluten-free baking. Xanthan gum. This actually creates the texture. You can leave it out, but it won't give you the same texture, and I can promise you it won't give you a gummy feel at all with this recipe. As I said, we've just got cheese, so I've just got 75 grams of grated mozzarella and 30 grams of cream cheese, so not even a huge amount of dairy there. 1 egg and just 75 grams of almond meal and some salt flakes. If you've got a high speed blender, food processor like a Thermomix or similar, you can make your own almond meal. If you're using the ones with skins on it, it'll just be a bit brown, that's all. Okay, so we've got lots of hellos. Hi, everybody. Good to see that some people are tuning in. I hope everyone's having a good day. If you've got any lovely news to share, or you're getting out of lockdown or just going in, leave a comment in the comment box. And if you've got any questions throughout this, I'll have a look before we come out of it. So if you're cooking this in the microwave, I would pop this into a larger bowl, pop it in the microwave for around about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, depending on the power of your microwave. I'm sure most of you have made a fathead or two in your time and know how long it takes within your Thermomix to get that within your microwave to get to the right temperature. If you don't have a Thermomix and you don't have a microwave, you can do it over a stove. Just do it over gentle heat, and you'll be good to go. I'm just going to pop that one on for 2 minutes. See, I could have gone through that while this is going on. I'm going to put that on for 90 degrees. And we'll just put that on for speed too. So I'm sure if you cannot hear me very well, I suggest there is 2 settings for lives. One that is on your device for your volume. There's also a volume within Facebook that you can turn up. I've got a microphone on me and it's right underneath me. So you should be able to hear me loud and clear even with the Thermomix going. Okay, so I look like I'm good so far for any questions. So yeah, once that is done, we're going to add our egg and our baking powder. Now, I can't stress how important it is to do the steps in the step methods the way I do them. I think it's the one thing that goes wrong with a lot of fathead dough or pastry, keto pastries, is the order of the ingredients. This changes the structure by doing it with the egg and the baking powder. And if you're doing a yeasted one, you put the yeast in at the same stage, and it will change the complete structure of the cheese before we add the dry ingredients. Most recipes always say to stick them all in at the same time. Don't do it. Even if you're not making mine, do it in this way. You should be able to get a much better result rather than those fatty, greasy fatheads that tend to just burn, I find, in the oven anyway. So, yes, this was a... it was funny because, like, I was thinking in my head, like, oh, if I did this, this could work out. And then one day I was just here and I had a little bit of fathead dough left over, and it was one of my yeasted ones, so this works with the yeast as well. And I just rolled it into a stick, so like a grissini. Popped it in the microwave for about a minute or so, and it came out and it looked like it was burnt, and I'm like, yeah, nothing to that. Then I tasted it, and it tasted just like grissini, like a large crouton, like really crunchy and delicious, but it also tasted like those cheesy bits that you get on your toasty, you know, that seep out and get onto the sides of the pan. That's all good. So I'm just going to grab my spatula here. One of the bits of cream cheese just didn't melt in there. So I've got some cheesy gooey mess there. So again, if this was in my microwave bowl, I would just add my egg and my baking powder. So I'm just adding I always use room temperature, large to jumbo free-range eggs, 2 teaspoons of the double-acting baking powder. You can use the one from the supermarket, but if you get a bitter taste with any of the baking, that is because you're using one that actually does make it bitter. So now I'm just going to mix that for 15 seconds. Let's just do that speed 3.5. And then I'm going to add my remaining ingredients. Move this out of the way. So the new cookbook, Slow Cook Keto, it's at the printers now. We're in lockdown. We're in our day 3. I'm losing track already of lockdown. And our printers are actually local. They've done or almost finished their part of what they had to do with it. And it's going to Queensland. So apparently so far we're all good of where we're going. So this one, 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. As I said, you can take it out, but I don't recommend it. Pinch of salt. And my almond meal. I'll just put my lid on and I'm just going to mix that, and then I'm going to knead it. So if I was doing this in my bowl from the microwave, I would have mixed in with a lot of elbow grease the baking powder and the egg first. Then I would add in the extra ingredients. Just going to put that on for 10 seconds. Speed 3. Then I would add my remaining dry ingredients, and I would continue to beat it or turn it over, stir it in the bowl till it looks like it's no longer sticky before I turn it out onto the silicone mat or my workbench. Just go across there. I'm going to go to dough. So the Thermomix can do mixing, chopping. It can do kneading. So in this situation, I'm just going to put that on for 2 minutes to knead. So as you can imagine, like this is like 2 minutes in the microwave, add the mixed ingredients, 2 minutes kneading, 4 minutes, and then it's going to have up to about a minute in the oven, in the microwave oven. So it's only like a 5-minute recipe. So it's nice, quick and easy. And as you can see, the ingredients, even though I had them mostly ready, they don't take long to gather as well. So what was I saying about the, well, I already said about the dough anyway. So anyway, with this dough, with the new cookbook, oh, that's right, what I was saying. So it'll get bound in Queensland. It should be here within 2 weeks. At the moment, if you haven't already bought the book or pre-ordered the book, you get the ebook immediately. So for those of you who already do have it, and you know there's a lot of like the recipes like beef stroganoff or beef bourguignon, things like that, this pastry is really good because you can use any of these tools or a pizza wheel. The lattice would be beautiful because it's new. I would have done it otherwise throughout the book. And use this dough and make pie tops. So it would be like really easy to convert any of those recipes that you make. So you might have some with mash one night or some vegetables. And then the following night with the leftovers, you could easily whip up this pastry, put it into a mug, a ramekin, a flat little flan dish or whatever, put your leftovers in, even if it was, let's say, if it was beef stroganoff and the mash, you put the mash on the bottom, put the beef stroganoff on the top, sprinkle a little cheese, do a nice little lattice pastry top, over the top, bake it in the oven for, well, if it wasn't already preheated in the bottom, you could cover it and bake it till the meat's hot and then take the top off and then bake it for a few minutes just to brown off the top. Otherwise, heat the filling, put the top on, put it in the oven, 5 minutes. Nice and easy. Hang on, I need to get that like button go away. Whatever. After my purchase, I downloaded it, then it said I can't access it again. That would be because you possibly pressed it 7 times, Karen. All the downloads are limited to 7 times. That's to protect our copyright and distribution of the ebooks. So any of your downloads, everyone always goes to do it. The ebooks are a file. They're just simply a file. So once you've actually loaded the book to your device, it should be on your device anyway, regardless of if you've saved it or not, because it should be in files. Like if you open up a PDF on your computer, it sits in downloads, right? So all you have to do is look for it on your device, or you can send me an email. Please don't send it to me on Facebook because I need to verify you are who you are. But yeah, the ebooks are limited, and yeah, when you go to click on it, just click on it once. If it doesn't open immediately, you might have settings on your device that actually don't allow pop-ups. So on your server, so all you do is you copy and paste the link into another server. So let's just say you're using Chrome, you're on your iPhone, you can put it onto Safari and then you just download it there. But yeah, that's just a device setting. They're limited. If it's been used up, then you actually have clicked on that link more than once. And often I see it and people will say that to me and I can see that it's been clicked over several days. So that will be why it's done that, but you can welcome to email me. I need a lattice cutter. Yeah, they're really cool. I thought you might like it with your choco pies. Okay. I want that dough mix is on the TM31. Never had to use it. Oh, okay, so is the dough mix on the TM31? I actually don't have that one. Okay, I'll just get the last of this pastry out. Okay, so all my pastry is now mixed and kneaded. And as you can see, it's not sticky. Just get that out of the way. Okay, so I will always get out my dough regardless of what recipes I'm making and then just knead it till it's smooth with my hands. And you'll see that, like you saw it, like all little bits and that when it came out of the mixer, because it kind of chops it while it's doing that. And then, I don't know why my silicone mat isn't sticking to the bench today, but normally it does. Possibly because I cleaned the bench with one of those sprays. So, okay, so I've got a nice dough. So with this one, I'm just going to cut it. If I was just going to make pastry with this, you don't need to cut it, but I'll just cut it into smaller serves so I make it easier for myself. So it's still smooth, and I do this while it's still warm. Biggest tip, do it while it's warm. You can still do it when it's cold or out of the fridge, but honestly, it works so much better when it's warm. Okay, so I'm just gonna roll this out. You don't have to be prissy. You don't have to like have one of those silicone mats with squares, circles, whatever on it. I wanna get it out to whatever thickness I want, and in this case I'm going to do the lasagna pasta first, okay? So I want it quite thin, but still thin enough that I can, thick enough that I can pick it up off the paper without it falling apart. Okay, so let's just say the beauty of this is that you can do like smaller sheets for whatever you need. Now I could have done this into a large rectangle and cut multiple sheets, which I have done in the recipe in the book, okay? So as you can see, I've made this sheet. If I wanted to go, okay, like the beauty of this is you can still re-roll the pastry bits always. So if I wanted to pop this down and go, oh, you know what? I think I can still do that a bit thinner, or it's not quite big enough to fit my container, because like whatever you're going to cook it in, like I said, I did mine in a pie tin. I did mine in the USA big pie tin. I just measure it and then I can have a look and see what I need to do. You can roll it out again that bit further. Okay, so it still comes off. You see how I use the paper to assist me to get it off. Doesn't stick to my hands, so no sticky pasta or whatever. I'm now just going to place it on some baking, what do you call it, paper towel, on a plate. I'm going to pop that into the microwave for 30 seconds. So while my other one's in there, I may as well show you some other ones. So what I'll do is I'll roll this one out. You can see it rolls really easily. You don't have to have brute force or be super buff to get it out. I might just use like my new molds here, so I might do some like octagons. So you're going to see a very fancy pie by me soon, as I bought this for some fancy pies. But I can cut out lots of little different pieces of pastry here. Okay, so this was 30 seconds in the microwave, okay? What I'm going to show you, try and show you, so you can see it's a little bit bubbly and it still feels a bit soft. But the thing is, if you've ever felt fresh pasta or like even, it's been so long since I had those ones that you buy in the supermarket that are in the fridge section. There might be Legos. Forgive me if I'm wrong. The sheets of fresh dried pasta, but they're still soft. They're not the hard ones that are in like near the cheeses and that. It feels quite like that. As it dries or cools, it will get a little bit firmer. But the thing is you can see like, hopefully you can see, it's not very thick. So, you know, if you've ever tried to use lasagna sheets, if you've ever tried to use fathead dough before, you may have done it really thick. I've seen some people do thick sheets of fathead dough for pasta, and that does not appeal to me at all. So this is why I try and get it as thin as I can, literally get it off the paper, because you'll always get that teeny tiny little bit of shrinkage. But yeah, once that cools, you can use that in any pasta and it'll just like dry up that little bit more. But as you can see, it doesn't stick to my hands and it's still really nice and flexible. So you could cut this into smaller sheets. So let's just say if you want to make your cannelloni, you can do your cannelloni, or you could do wraps and stuff like that with this, which I'll show you how to do a wrap in a minute. But as I said, we can just go through and do all these little pastry pieces. So then you could place this directly. I won't even cook these ones because well, I will. I'll cook these ones just to show you what they're like. But you could place this directly on top of a pie to create some gorgeous designs. The other thing that you can do, I don't have any out here, but let's just say you can press the pastry or sprinkle the pastry with seeds, herbs, spices, like so you could use the Italian herb seasoning, which is in a lot of my cookbooks because I love it. Sesame seeds, some Aleppo pepper, za'atar, all different kinds of herbs or spices. I even did ranch seasoning ones the other day and Dave loved them. So that was just over the top. Then as I rolled it, then I put it, okay, let me explain. I rolled it out flat. I sprinkle it with whatever I'm going to sprinkle it with. I put the sheet back over and just roll it just slightly, but just a little bit gently, so it just puts the seasoning into the pastry. So it's not just sitting on the top, so as soon as I pick it up, it's going to fall off. Okay, so then again, as I said, this could be all placed in a beautiful pattern on top of a pie, or I can just pop it into the microwave. I put mine on 30 seconds when I do this for the lasagna pasta and stuff like that. This can also be then rolled through a lasagna pasta roller as well to make it a little bit thinner if you wanted to, and it can be cut on the tagliatelle cutting. So we've done all of those as well. But yeah, so there's a few different ways you can use this. So of course, like being like just a standard fathead sort of style, you could just bake it straight up. Now, as you might know if you've already got the book, the recipe for these do have yeast in them. When you do this, you get even more puff. Now, if they stick to your paper, as mine have right now, just allow them to cool. It's like a cookie sheet. Like if you've ever got a really good cookie sheet, good quality ones, they've always got like the patterns on the bottom of them. And then when they cool, the cookies will come off really nicely and be nicely patterned as well. So we've got some nice little sheets there. Now, little shapes. So I would cook for the alphabet soup. I cook it till it's like that little bit firm. So between 45 seconds to a minute in my microwave. And I can adjust the setting on mine. Mine's the KitchenAid Bake Assist, so I can put it all in different wattage, but I'm cooking it as 750 watt. So you may need less or more time depending upon your machine, your microwave itself. If you don't have a microwave to cook it, you can cook it in a low oven as well. Okay, so just turn your oven, and it may just take, again, it might take some adjusting because everyone's oven is different. So we did try it, and I have put it in the notes. I think it was between 100 and 120. We did it in the oven as well. So the testers have had a lot of fun with this pastry over the time. Now the other one I was going to show you is you can do the croutons. So I just use the cutter for croutons, and I'll just cut them into whatever shapes I want. And again, I might just take them off that one. Over there and put this on here. Now I'm going to put that one on for a minute, but you can do your croutons as thick, so you could just like put it into a thick rectangle slab, cut it into even cubes, pop it into the microwave. This one we might, well, I'll try 45 seconds first and see how it goes. And lastly, I'll just do a quick wrap. The dough is now cold, by the way. I'll have a look at your questions in a second because I'll just turn this heat on and I'll do two. Oop, wrong one. Wrong one. Is anyone else like me? Like, honestly, I still don't even know where the light switches are in my house, and I've like lived here for, I think, 13 years. So 12 or 13 years, and I'm like, I go reaching for the light switch and I'm like, it's on the other wall, Megan. But, you know, I can say with my cooktop though, you know, it is only a couple of years old. Okay, so I'll get this out and I'll just show you. So this one's just stuck to the paper. You can see it's puffed and it's gotten a lot thicker. So, and when they're the yeasted dough, it will pop even more. It's still soft, but you might be able to, if I put that in my mic, you can hear there's a little bit of firmness to it. So that, just like a cookie dough, will actually get firmer as it cools. So I'm going to leave it at that 45 seconds from the microwave today. So good on me, I've done this really badly here, but we might. See, this is the beauty of these cutters. Look, this is what I'm showing you, right? So if you've got like our wrap mixers or you want to make your own tortillas at home, it turns out beautiful. I'm just going to pop that to the side because I'll pop it on this one. So over here on my stove at the moment, I've got a crepe pan and I've got a griddle pan. So one will give me a smooth look. And for the life of me, Linda, I know you're watching and I know we tested these a long time ago. I can't remember if we actually tested the wraps pre-cooked or not. So, you know, like as in we cooked them in the microwave, then grilled them. I can't remember. But anyway, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well. I have faith that it'll work. So as you can see, this is one batch with only 75 grams of almond meal and what is it? I think it's around the same with cheese too. So it's 125 grams of cheese, 30 grams of cream cheese, 1 egg, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of xanthan gum, and 75 grams of almond meal and a pinch of salt. I just put my finger through that, by the way. That does not normally happen. I don't like that. So, and if you're using these cutters, you can always just like bog up the whole So that's always a beauty. I might just smooth that over a little bit. Hair's all in the way as usual. Do you like the curls? No straightening today. Just going a la natural. Okay, so again, you see it's very easy to touch this dough. It should never be sticky, okay? Even when it's yeasted. If you use the inulin or sugar or honey, no sugar alcohols, you'll end up with a beautiful non-sticky dough. Okay, I'll just give that one another second on the other side. These don't take very long. But what they are is a very quick and easy wrap that you can use for a sandwich, that you can use, like I said, for toasties and things like that as well. So if I wanted, like with this little leftovers, if I, again, wanted to use this, I could make them for my lasagna sheets for mugs. Oh, I don't know if my griddle one's going to work. Oh, I better get this one off. Okay, so I'll just pop that there for a minute and I'll show you in a second. Turn that one off. Oh. My griddle one's going to work. Okay, so as I said, I put my finger through. You can see where I pulled on it. But as you can see, these are perfect soft wraps that will actually wrap. They can still be used as your lasagna pasta if you wanted to as well. Sandwiches, cannelloni. You could do them sweet. So you could put a little bit of sweetener and vanilla in them. Or even, say maybe I've got some orange oil here. I'm actually experimenting for some chocolate coconut butter fat bombs for you. And, you know, you could flavour them Jaffa or whatever. So nice, tasty breakfast wraps of different kinds. You could, what's the liquids and stuff that I haven't put any liquids in this one. You could increase your almond meal a little bit and add like some different vegetables or fruit in it as well to make them a little bit fruity. Okay, so, and this one, as you can see, when it's on the griddle, gives you a pretty griddle pattern. So, and as you can see, super simple, nice and soft, perfect wraps, ingredients that you can get from a supermarket. We microwaved, so if we didn't even use a Thermomix, we microwaved the mixture for 2 minutes. We kneaded it for 2 minutes. We rolled it out and cut it and popped it in the pan as we were cutting the next ones. Realistically, you could have this entire batch of dough done into many different ways. So we've made octagonal pasta shapes that we can stick in our soup. So we've got pasta for soup. We've got croutons for soup. Or we could have pasta for pie top. We've got wraps for lunches. So we've got, or breakfast. I'm like trying to come up with different ways. We could have done them in minis and done like mini breakfast wraps, little burritos, or breakfast burritos and stuff like that like I did in Keto Loco. All these different ways. Oh, I didn't show you the lattice maker. And then I'll have a look at your questions. But I'm hoping you're loving it. This was one recipe. We always have like some basic sections in the cookbooks. Yes, there might be some repeated things that are in other cookbooks in the basics, but it's just to provide you with the recipes for things that otherwise in other cookbooks that aren't keto, we could go to the supermarket and buy. Like keto pasta, yeah, you can get some from the supermarket, but it's soy-based. And I understand that a lot of people don't like to eat soy. We can go to the supermarket and buy seasonings, but a lot of them actually contain sugars. Yes, there's great mingle seasonings and that available now, thank goodness. But you're still limited in that as well too. So, you know, if you can use what is in your pantry now, and even for those of you in lockdown, like I say, if you look in Slow Cook Keto and you go, I can make my own ranch seasonings and make my own ranch bagels and make my own Italian seasoning and make my own Parmesanas and stuff like that, or marinara sauces, which is amazing, by the way. They're just the basics, the foundations for the recipes that are in the book. And to me, it's always worthwhile putting them in, whether they're something brand new or they're something that I've done before, because it just makes it more worthwhile and easy for you to use. If I say just go and buy one or find a recipe, I'm sure many of you would be not so happy with me. You know, like, oh, you know, here's a recipe for my Parmesan or meatloaf, please go to Keto Loco for the recipe for the seasoning. No, we don't want that, right? So with this one, the one thing that I found is you actually, once you get it started, you actually have to hold down the end bits. This is the only tricky part I found of this so far. If anyone else knows how to use this better than I do, please speak up. Okay, so I'm just gonna trim off, where's my little trimmer? Trim off that bit. Trim off this bit. Okay, so when I did this the other day to make my bagels, I actually cut the strips first, but what it does is it makes little slits. So you can see, it makes these gorgeous little lattice pattern. And that is as simple as that. I bought this on eBay, actually, I just remembered. I got this one on eBay, it was less than $10. It will, honestly, it will get like a shit ton more use than $10 worth in this kitchen for sure. Yeah, I mean, I know there's more higher quality ones or whatever, but I just wanted to check it out, see how it would go with my pastry recipes, and make some fancy looking stuff for you guys, just so it looks good as well. So, you know, food doesn't have to be boring. And even if we only eat one meal a day or whatever, mind you, I'm so full. Fish cakes. Yes, we did make fish cakes yesterday. I think quite a few of us made fish cakes yesterday. So let me have a quick look at your questions and see if there's anything I can answer. I have my cookbooks in front of me, and of course we're waiting on the last one, well, next one to come, not the last one. So yeah, and we're shipping these now. So if anyone's interested, the books are in there. If you buy the bundle with the new book though, they'll all ship together in a couple of weeks. Okay, so let's have a look at some questions. Chinese 5-spice lamb shanks cooking now. How good are they, Wendy? I hope you're enjoying them. See, and you could make some nice wraps and put your Chinese 5-spice in them with a bit of sticky glaze, some cucumber, like sort of like a Peking duck wrap, but it's a Asian 5-spice lamb wrap. And if you did it in these size or the smaller egg rings, then you could have nice little tasty ones. There's a nice little idea. I'd eat that right now, actually. Okay, so I've got to look for your comment, Helen, regarding the TM31. I think you're just saying that you've never used the dough mix. To be honest, like, because I've never used guided cooking on mine. Well, sorry, I have. I've like used it for sauces and stuff like that, or boiled eggs. But I don't like use guided cooking for meals. But the dough setting would probably be my most used setting on the Thermomix, mainly because obviously I'm always making bagels, and the low carb bread has had like its fair share of testing and stuff like that as well. And so yeah, I'm always putting things through the dough mix, but it's great. So hopefully if the TM31 has that, that's what you'll be using. I wonder rather, I don't know what that means. Hello Megan, do you have a rough idea on what postage would be for your 5-book bundle to Central Victoria, please? Hi Paula, the postage is the same for everybody that's on there. I think it's roughly around about $19.95 for the 5-book bundle. Just to let you know, we'll be looking at our prices come September. Australia Post is having another price rise. Yay, aren't they nice? Don't worry, lots of merchants are all up in arms about that. So yeah, it's roughly around about $20. The books, the new one is the same size as, say, Keto Loco. You're looking at 3 books that are all 3 kilos in those ones, and then the smaller 2 in the everyday keto and the lunchtime keto. And I may as well hold up that one as well. So yeah, there, it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it'll be around about 4 kilo bundle of books. Which you'll even be able to see when you look up Australia Post pricing and stuff like that. It'll be more than what we charge, but because we just take it a little bit down. I love how you take the bottom off your thermi to get the pastry. Yeah, I think I saw that in one of those big group demos that I once went to. They certainly weren't doing fathead dough, but I saw that come out. And to me, it's the easiest way to clean it out. I usually have it like a knife and stuff like that to fish out my dough out the bottom. Personally, I do prefer, in some respects, to do fathead just in a bowl in the microwave because it's easier to clean than out of a Thermomix. But for lives, it's a lot easier than back and forward with my back of my head to you. Sorry, my comment was all around the wrong way. I have a TM31. What would be the dough setting on that? Oh, okay, so the TM31 doesn't have a dough setting. If that's the case, I wouldn't know. I would just mix it for, say, a minute on the mixed, slower speed, whatever. And then I just take it out, just wait till it feels like less sticky, mix it till it feels less sticky, and then put it out and just knead it on the silicone mat. If you, and when you're doing it, like when I do mine in the microwave, I do mine in the large Pyrex, right? So I do mine in this sort of size Pyrex, and I mix in the actual, like I use this kind of spoon, and I really get in there and I mix it until it is completely combined. If you're ever making like any fat heads or whatever, you'll see like strings of cheese through some of them and bits of other meal over here. You're doing it till it actually turns into a dough. I mean, like literally, when you look at this stuff, it doesn't look too much different than an ordinary dough. So it should be like that. And as you can see, never stick to your hand. So, and there's none of my fat heads at all, any of my bagel doughs, should ever stick to your hand. If they're sticking to your hand, so I've had some people say to me, why is my bagel dough sticky? I'm like, there's no liquid in it other than an egg, and the 1 tablespoon of water is eaten by the yeast. So when you put the yeast in, it's actually like a dry fluff. So there shouldn't be any liquid in it. So if that's the case, then you either haven't mixed in your egg yet, which I'm guessing that's what it is, as in it's just still sitting on there, and you really need to use the arm action before putting it out to knead it. But the dough should never be sticky. It should be beautiful and supple like this. And you can refrigerate this. So like I said, even though I think it's better to move faster when you're making these while it's still warm, you can still refrigerate it, bring it out, put it out to room temperature, roll it out and still use it. It's just a little bit more fragile when it's a bit cooler, that's all. Would it roll in a pasta maker, Jane? Okay, so it will roll in a pasta maker after you've cooked it a little bit. It's if you were to use, say, micellar casein or whey protein isolate to coat it and then put it through, not that it really contains gluten, but it can't be in Australia claimed as gluten-free. If you have the oat fibre that we use in the low-carb bread, you can add a tablespoon of the oat fibre and just take out a tablespoon of the almond meal and add that, and it will actually make it more bread-like, as in the dryness. So when you go to roll it out into pasta, it'll actually like hold together better. So you could try that with the oat fibre, and you'll possibly be able to roll it out without first doing it. But yeah, when I've done it, like it just depends. Like if you go to do it in large sheets, yeah. Do it in tagliatelle, yeah. Go to do it in spaghetti, it comes out bitsy, like it just breaks up into little pieces. That's my experience. I know I have the Atlas one that I've tested with. I haven't tried it with, I've got a KitchenAid and I've got all the pasta presses and rollers and that, but I haven't tried it with those ones. It will after it's cooked. Thanks, Linda. I wonder if these can be used for dumplings wontons. They sure can. Genevieve, when you do it, no steaming. If you steamed it, it will fall apart. They're better just to do it straight up filled and then pot sticker style. So just fry it straight into the pan, then add it into any of your broth or fur or sauce, however you want to eat them. But yeah, that'll still work that way. And it just means that if you are going to do it that way, you can either pre-cook your filling, or you're just going to have to not fill them too much and cook them a little bit longer at a lower temp than you would if you were just going to fry dough. I've used a similar dough. I haven't looked at the recipe in years. It's the Chico roll one where I fried it, and it becomes really crispy if it's fried till it's crispy. so for pot sticky, you don't want it quite there. So yeah, turn the temperature down low so you're cooking in the center and still getting a nice little touch of golden on the outside. Thank you, Megan, for spending your time to show us these tips. They are very appreciated. That's great, Jenny. And the thing is like it is just trying to show you some easy recipes live, and I'll try and do more for everyone, generally speaking. For everyone that's bought the Slow Cook Cookbook, as I said, I will do some special videos that will be not live. They will be taped videos from a beginning to an end, with all the steps and stuff like that in there, and more knowledge. So I know already that I will do the marble cake in there, and I'll show you how to marble it beautifully. I'll probably do the white chocolate mousse with that as well. And I'm thinking maybe one on how to make everything look amazing in that as well too, because I think when we take some things out of a slow cooker in that, if it's all brown or all white, say for Philly chicken, it doesn't look particularly appealing. Well, not to me anyway. So we did put in a lot of the recipes and that in there to help it with the gremolatas and chimichurri and things like that. But I can show you some little ways of, maybe making, I don't know, little garnishes and that just make it look nice. But anyway, I'll be videoing those and they'll all be separate and they'll all be for everybody that's ordered the cookbook in pre-sales period. I'm so frustrated and done with this stuff. Karen, don't feel like that. We have a lot of people that have to get used to how to use an ebook, to be honest with you, prior to me ever writing them or starting to think about. I did not even know that people, read books online like that. So I started to get them and that before I did mine. And, I was reading at night because it was great. Like, you've got your light built into your iPad and you can read without having to have a nightlight on and not disturb, your partner sleeping in bed. So, but yeah, I do have the FAQs in the link about how to open and save, but one click, like any other file, the ebook should open. If it does not open in your browser, it is usually that your browser has like an anti-pop-up blocker, or it's just not going to open it up. So what you do is you just copy the link, paste it into another browser, open it up, and then save it to your device. But if you keep clicking, what it does is, as you know, if you click on a file and you start to see it load like that, and then you click it again, it stops that one, and then it starts another one. So if you do that 7 times, that's all your 7 downloads. So let's have a look at the next one. It's all amazing, but any suggestions what to swap out the cheese, as I don't like the taste? In this recipe, nothing. I don't know anything else that will hold it together other than cheese. It's the glue. So unfortunately, that's in it. If you can eat cheese, Tanya, I would just suggest you add other things. So you could, adding nutritional yeast won't help because that tastes like cheese. But it's where you could actually add I would blanch, say, some spinach or some basil or puree some sun-dried tomatoes or any of those sort of flavors, garlic, whatever you might like in that sort of way, and add it into the mixture to lessen the flavor of the cheese. Things like seasonings will work. So if you're going to do a lasagna, adding like the Italian seasoning through the mixture will work perfectly, and that will take away the taste of the cheese. My ranch bagels that are in the book, they don't taste like cheese at all. They don't even taste like they're made with a fathead style dough at all. I made them again the other day. I've got some great pictures on my phone too of like the texture inside of them. You're hard pressed to not know that they're not a true bread, true bagel. I know the difference because I'm a big bagel, fan from way back. So that's why I guess I have a little bit of an affiliation to be making bagels a lot. And different styles to try and make them better than I've made them in the past. But yeah, so maybe just adding any seasonings or anything into the mixture. So it could be any blanched herb or spinach, vegetable, cooked, let's just say if you don't mind a little bit of carrot or pumpkin or something like that, puree a little bit, add that into the mixture. And then mix it all in. If it needs to have a little bit more, if it's a little bit sticky from the extra liquid, just add a little bit more almond meal and you should be good. Everything looks amazing. Thanks, Nino. Thank you, Karen. Part cooked for pies. Pie bottoms. Pie bottoms with this. Depends on how you cook them, to be honest. Just thinking back to Lunchtime Keto, we did the nut-free easy pastry and we didn't pre-cook those pie bottoms for the pies, but they were just done into a ramekin and not a particularly wet pie. It really does depend because anything that's like this is going to absorb a hell of a lot of liquid if you're sticking the liquid on top. But yeah, I guess I would just microwave it, if you can. If it's going to go into a metal pie tin, try and put it in a glass one, shape it out. maybe sort of, like they do those little tortilla boats and stuff like that. They're kind of semi-shaped already, and then pop it into your pie tin. Hold on. Again, I would only do it for like a minute or so. It's just to seal it, so it's not like just this wet bit of dough that you're going to put in the bottom. Because as you can imagine, like if you're going to cook, like a standard pastry and stuff like that, a lot of the pies that when you just stick them in, they cook on the outside but not on the inside, and this is like a different texture because it's not as dry as normal pastry. Can I watch this all again later? You sure can, Helen. You can see the beginning later. How long will the wraps last after you make them, Stephanie? Okay, so how long will they last? Probably not long because you'll want to eat them. Standard answer, right? I put them in a Ziploc bag. I put them in the fridge. Honestly, I've had them there for, to be honest, sometimes over 2 weeks, and I've still eaten them, and they're perfectly fine. They're in the fridge. I wouldn't leave them at room temperature. They'll probably grow green stuff on them within a couple of days, but definitely in the fridge. They're fine in a Ziploc bag. You can freeze them. Just put them in a Ziploc bag again, freeze them flat. You could even put little pieces of baking paper between them if you wanted to, and then just take out 1 or 2 as you need them. Stick them out on your bench. They'll defrost in no time, and you can make sandwiches and stuff like that for lunch boxes, or use them as your pasta, whatever you want to do. Very, very easy, but they'll last a long time. The only thing that might change it, but I think even through the process of cooking would be different, is if like your cheese was nearing its use by date. But other than that, no, they last very well in a fridge. It's the same with like our wrap mixes and stuff like that. They don't have the cheese in it though, but I've left them in the fridge for weeks. So, but mind you, our fridge isn't open and closed all day long. So it does depend on the temperature of the fridge, who's in it, not in it. If you were touching something like, I always say to Dave, like, don't eat the cheese and, bite into something because it's bacteria transferal and stuff like that. So little things like that can affect things. I went to make something last night. When I made our fish cakes, we usually use grated parmesan on the outside, and I put out a full thing of parmesan, and it had mold growing on it. It wasn't old, it wasn't out of date. It would have just been because it probably had been touched by my hands when I was doing like a big cook for our last cookbook, and transfer of bacteria. So into the bin it went. No cheese on the fish cakes, which was fine. My pastry always seems to be sticky no matter how long I need. Donna, are you doing it on the bench or are you doing it in a Thermomix? Happy to read that answer if you're still watching shortly. Would this work in a pie maker to make a quiche? Sharon, I have made these sort of things in a pie maker before. They do work. I wouldn't say that they're the best. But yeah, like to make a quiche or something like that, you're still going to get the crusty bit on the outside. And still like a nice tasty quiche. For me, in the pie maker, I like my short crust pastry. I actually stick it in cold and then turn it on, and then I'll fill it. So like I let it cook a little bit and then I fill it up with the quiche mixture. So yeah, we've got, like, if you know on the website, there is an amazing short crust pastry that I created. It's also, for those who got the Thermomix, it's also on the Cookie Do, and that's my recipe as well in the new low carb collection. So yeah, just make that one. That's a really good pie one for a quiche, particularly. I missed the beginning. Can you make the dough without a Thermomix? Rosalind, yes, you can, absolutely. As I said, you can make it in the microwave, so it's just 2 minutes. Stick it in a big Pyrex bowl, the normal big size ones, these size ones. I think it's 5 litre. 5 litre. There you go, it's got it stamped in the bottom. Melt the cheese and the cream cheese in the microwave. Take it out. Mix in the egg and the baking powder. Whip, whip, whip till it all foams up. Throw in the dry ingredients, which is your salt, your almond meal, and your xanthan gum. Mix in the bowl until it's no longer sticky and it's all coming together and it's a smooth consistency. Then out onto the silicone mat. Knead it for 2 minutes. Then slice it, dice it, microwave it. Very easy. And if you don't have a microwave, you can do it on the stove top as well, just on low heat, and then bake in the oven, low heat. Pastrami went into the slow cooker at 8 a.m. this morning. Yay, Elizabeth. It's amazing. I even cut my pastrami up into smaller sections, and we, vacuum sealed them, and they're in the freezer. I'm sure if Dave could find them, they'd not be still there, but anyway, there's a lot of food in there. It should be fine. I had made the green. Oh, I did. I saw your green flatbreads, Helen, and they are amazing, aren't they? So they're really good. That's another good recipe. That's probably one of my best wrap recipes I ever made. Helen Jane, use the button down bottom on the right. Okay, so that's not for me. Has a wheat symbol on it. Okay, so is there still a dough one on the TM31? Is there anyone watching that can actually confirm that with me? Because if there is, then I'll know. I have testers, but they've never said that to me. I've had TM31s in this kitchen from other testers helping us do books, but I've actually not noticed before. What book is that in, please, Helen? And how did you flatten them? Okay, so Tamara, if Helen hasn't responded to you, the green flatbreads is in the Healthy Family Keto Cookbook, which is a great cookbook for this time of the year too, because it was actually written throughout the winter months going into spring. So it has all those kind of recipes that you'll love for slow cooking, slow baking, and things like the green wraps, which I think I should be able to find pretty easily. There they are. So you can see that they just look like a real wrap. So it's just done with spinach and stuff like that. So yes, just baby spinach in that one. There we go. Answer, Healthy Family Keto. I've had the TM31 for 10 years, but also 5 and 6, so it doesn't get used as much. But I just can't part with it. Yeah, I've obviously now got the Maggi Mix and that as well too, which I absolutely love. And I'll have to do a demo if anyone's interested in seeing that one getting a good workout in all its glory. Because it has some advantages over the Thermomix and that as well too, using it. 3 ingredient shortbread, amazing. Yes, it is. If you haven't left a review on the recipe yet, please go on and do so. It's funny, like everyone always wonders why I ask for those comments and stuff like that. Our recipes are really hard to find on Google. Like, to be honest, we don't really rank anywhere. So the more comments and use that we get of our recipes on our website actually helps us get further to the front page of Google, so that when you actually like look up keto shortbread, you would never find my recipe. And if you love it, you'll want it to be on number 1, wouldn't you? Rather than have to work your way through all of the bad recipes. Not saying that the bad recipes are on page 1. I don't know, because I don't make other people's recipes. But that's the reason why. I think my measuring spoons and cups are bigger than what they say with the flatbread. It says 1 cup for almond flour, 100 grams. The cup weighed more. Are you pressing it down? Because I use a standard 250 gram cup, but almond meal is roughly between 100 and 110 grams per cup. So either 100 or 110 won't matter. Thank you for the tips on the wraps. I eat the Woolies ones daily, but they are crazy expensive and seem to be getting smaller each time. Super excited to make your wraps today. I'll keep them in the fridge. That's awesome, Stephanie. And yeah, there's no crack in these. So like, you know, they're completely keto. One of these would even be way less than 1 gram of carbs. Probably immeasurable, because you're eating, like, even in the whole thing, there's only 75 grams of almond meal, and that's your main carbs that are in the whole lot. 1 gram of carbs in the whole lot of cheese, 1 gram of carbs in the whole egg. And yeah, then it's just the almond meal's the only thing that's got the carbs that it's really in this recipe. So very, very low carb, very easy to make. And the thing is you can make this in double, triple, quadruple measures, whatever you want to make it in. Make them in advance. You can bake them, and then you can freeze them or refrigerate them and just use them at your leisure. And yeah, they'll cost a lot less than any of the brands, whether it's the Woolies brand or Simpsons, etc. But yeah, nice little way to make it. But these ones do have dairy in it. For our non-dairy ones, I obviously have at this stage, I have the ones that are in the Healthy Family, and there's some in Keto Loco and Everyday Keto. I try and put different ones in each one. And of course we have our packet mixes. Kneading both in thermo and bench. Okay, so Donna, still seems to be sticky. I would check your measures. I have no idea. If you're doing the yeasted one, are you using inulin? If you're using monk fruit or erythritol, then you're not activating the yeast. But there should be absolutely no reason why it should be sticking to your hands. You've just seen, and if you look in my videos on this page, you'll see me using Fathead plenty of times and even seeing my hand in it. It's not sticky at all. I follow all the recipes by weight and get excellent results. That's awesome. And it's funny because some people ask about measures, and that's when somebody just said their cup weighed more or whatever. you know, it can really depend. Like, you know, is a teaspoon a heaped teaspoon? You know, there's ones that have got internal rims and stuff like that. It makes it harder. There is like metric and imperial tablespoons and stuff like that. So we put the measures in there. I always tend to go on weight because I do use the thermi in that as a backup. And when there is an ingredient like, let's just say I've thrown heaps of things and then I go, oh, I'm going to throw in some cacao powder and I don't measure it, I'm just throwing in a tablespoon, I'll actually get the testers to say, can you tell me how much that weighs when you go and throw it in? You know, it's 10 grams, say for instance. So, you know, we do try and double check all those sort of things so that no one's having inconsistent results. And when I put those measures in it so that the US, who prefer to go in cups and tablespoons and that, can use those measures, and the Aussies, if you want to just put your bowl onto a scale and tear it and then measure it all. And if you don't have, like I've got a few of them over there, they're buried at the moment, some flat digital scales in your kitchen, go and buy one. You know, like they're honestly, they're one of the best investments to have in your kitchen. Or you've got the Thermomix, which has got scales built in. TM31 has dough function. It looks like wheat. Awesome. So I can't remember who that was was before. Helen, maybe? You can use the dough function. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh my God. I made the stroganoff to die for. So good. That's awesome to hear, Danny. It was one of those recipes that I loved. We tested quite a few different ways and times, and I was like, look, because the testers get my recipes before I actually do all mine for photographs and stuff. And I'm looking at theirs and I'm like, okay, you've got to do it and you've got to char those onions. You know, I want to see some black stuff on them. And I say, like, it takes the meal from here way up to here when you just do those tiny little touches. And that's why I put those notes in there, to just let you know that these little steps are not just there because I'm just saying, this is the way I want to do it. And, you know, yeah, let's just chuck it all in the thermi and it'll work out fine. It'll taste the same. No, it won't. You want to have those extra little bits that we do that just add the extra flavour. Okay, we'll leave a review. Thank you, Wendy. The reviews make sense now. I was wondering why you always wanted them. So, yeah, it's true. Like, I always laugh. Like, people have said, like, you know, Thermomix people. I think, Helen, you are a Thermomix person. Everyone always told me when I first started, oh, you know, put your recipes on the recipe community. And it's like, well, hey, like I've said, I know I've said this before live, but if this was the best wrap recipe in the world, I mean, like the best thing you could ever eat, Willy Wonka invented it and it was like that extraordinary. And I stuck it on the recipe community and it has no ratings, no reviews, and it's not like a 5-star recipe or on page 1 of Google. No one will ever make it. No one will ever know. And that's why. And you could still make it and love it and you don't leave any review. Well, no one else knows, do they? You put it on Facebook. Facebook group knows, but like Google, there is millions of people searching for good recipes every single minute. And at the moment, like, yeah, we don't really rate anywhere. And, you know, I'm trying to put out the recipes out there into the keto world that are not like everyone else. Yeah, I might like do a fathead, but I don't do the same fathead that everyone else does. I don't do the same cooking methods. I don't just look on somebody else's and go, I'm going to do theirs and I'm going to just write it up here and put it on my website. You know, we put in a lot of work to make these recipes try and be really good. So yeah, the reviews really do help, and they help you guys too, because I'm sure, you know, if you're ever like looking at something and you really want to make something that's going to be good, you look at reviews, right? So that's where it's important to go back. It could be a pain in the ass, but go back in after you've made it and go, oh my God, this was amazing. Or, oh my God, this is crap. I don't want to hear that. But anyway, yeah, feedback is awesome. Maybe the sticky dough, the person was putting the ingredients in the wrong order. Could be, like I say, you know, there is specific methods, and especially like when I've got yeast and things like that too, I always say the salt's always got to go in nowhere near the yeast. But if you're mixing the dough and then kneading the dough for the 2 minutes, when it comes out of that, like you could see, I could actually like touch it straight away and it shouldn't even touch my hands. If it's from the microwave and not in a Thermomix and it's in the bowl, as I said, you've got to work the dough before it comes out of the bowl onto the silicone mat, so it's no longer sticky. It shouldn't stick to the sides of the bowl. It shouldn't stick to your spatula. Like, it can be a bit sticky, but it shouldn't be like when you stick your hand into like a bread dough and it sticks to your hands. Not ever should it be like that when it's made to the same recipe. And I only use like Woolies or Coles cheeses and stuff like that. in these sort of recipes because you're using it in bulk. So to use a more expensive brand would be silly. So I always just use the cheapest brands in shredded cheeses for a basic dough or pastry. This has been very informative. Thank you. No, that's okay, Genevieve. This is why I like to do it, so that you actually can see some of the recipes, see why we do these things, and know that you can make these recipes and the things are going to turn out really good. Like I said, like knowing that, probably could even cut this out now. I wonder if that'll work. Yeah, it will. So even if I wanted to make my lasagna pasta, I could even still cut it out of the sheets. And, you know, with the leftovers, I can still like cut that up and throw them in there if I wanted to do it. Like, I'm just going to do lasagna or one because I've got like some leftover Philly chicken. I'm going to do it, you know, with this. So yeah, you know, this is why it's so good to see that, you know, there's no rules really. Like once something's done, you can have a play around with it and make it your own as well. It was Google that led me to your recipes. Wonder what you were looking for, Stephanie, that found me, because yeah, we're, like I said, we've got a few recipes that are on page 1 for on Google, but they're not things that people are commonly looking for. You know, things like keto licorice. Me too. I was looking for pea and ham soup. Yeah, I think we are actually in the top 3 or so for that, for keto pea and ham soup. I even had Ruled Me just contact me in the last 24 hours because they want to add a link into that recipe. So yeah, it's one of our top recipes, and that will get a revamp soon too. As you know, I've done the new pea and ham. I won't be doing the same recipe on the website, but I've done a different pea and ham. But I made it look so much prettier, so I have to, you know, do some new pictures for the website as well. Do you have enough dough left to demonstrate the croutons? I actually did the croutons. Did you not see them, Dale? They're actually on the video. Here they are here. So it was just into any sized cut shape, and then you just cut them into shape and microwave it for a minute, and then they become nice and hard and crunchy. So then you can put that into your soup and they won't go soggy straight away or anything like that. If I can even chop that. So you can actually like see it's all like crunchy inside. So yeah, they're really good. And you could even like probably crumble that and coat something in that too. Sorry, I think this has been asked already, but do you have a brand of mozzarella cheese you recommend? So Tamara, I actually just use Coles or Woolies brand. So there's the pink one, I think it is from Coles, and Woolworths have their red shred. It's always shredded mozzarella, but I actually use pizza cheese in this one because they had no mozzarella because of, what do you call it, panic buying at the local supermarket. So that's pizza cheese, which I think is a blend of possibly mozzarella, I don't know, tasty cheese and parmesan or something like that. But yeah, always just the cheapest ones because we do so much with these kind of doughs and testing and stuff like that, that I pay a fortune for cheese each year. So yeah, that's all I use. I don't use any expensive brands, nothing fancy or anything like that. Where can I find the recipe of this fathead dough? Okay, Jules, this one is actually in our new cookbook that's in pre-orders now, Slow Cook Keto. The link is in the post. It is not to these measures or anything like that on my website, but we do have our fathead dough on the website, which I will be updating in the next week or so. But the recipes that are in the Slow Cook Keto include an ultimate fathead dough, the lasagna pasta dough. They have recipes for the croutons, lasagna pasta, the alphabet pasta, which is different than the lasagna pasta because they weren't all made with this particular one, and a ranch bagel as well, and naan, which is different again. It's got yogurt in it. I missed your live. Where can I find it to watch again? So when I finish this one, Julie, you'll actually be able to just click replay straight away. So I'll be finishing up very shortly. So yeah, you can start at the beginning and you can just stop and start at any time. We've also got on this page, like it depends on where you're watching it from, because I don't know if this shared to the other groups and that as well too. If you go onto our page, so the Megan Ellen Mad Creations page, think that's what it's called. Yep, Mad Creations Keto Recipes. You can go into videos and there's all our lives that are in there too. So you can actually like look up and say, oh, I want to watch your live on making ice cream. You can actually watch a live on fathead dough and my tips on that made in the microwave and that as well too. Not on a Thermomix. So there is a lot of video content there and it spans back to 2018. So yeah, there's lots of different stuff there and I think I've caught up with everything. Anyone else has got, just Google butter chicken 8th recipe down, but still on the first page. Yay! Watch me climb. I just updated it with those prettier pictures. It looks so much better than that red ugly stuff that there was before. But it might only be on that page because you've searched for it before, Helen. That's the thing is like sometimes you might look and go, oh, she's that number one, but it's just because you search for that one the most. But if you look up, say, keto butter chicken, which might not be what you look for normally, you'll probably see I'm like on page 3 or something like that. So yeah, we're little. We're trying to get bigger, and the thing is what I actually will be spending a lot of time on over the next 12 months, really through 2022, is the website. There will be a new cookbook in the new year, but maybe it might only be one next year. I don't know. One, max 2. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll probably only be one. We'll do a lot more ebooks. So if you're part of our 365 program and that as well, our founders, you'll be getting a few more ebooks before the year's out and that as well too. We are working on a new cookies, the cookie jar ebook that should be out in a week or so, which is a roundup of all of our cookie recipes all in one cookbook. So it'll be like a budget ebook. Not available in hard copy, so don't ask me. It will not be available in hard copy. We've got no more room, okay? And we're getting, I don't know, 5 pallets of books delivered in a few, couple of weeks. So, yeah, there will be some more ebooks and that. And that just makes it convenient for us that I can actually put out material that you can actually find like a whole heap of recipes in one place. So the idea with the cookie jar is it's going to become part of my pantry series, which will be ebooks based all around supermarket, pantry-based ingredients, things like you can have like your basics, so you could have like, a whole lot of ones of paste marinades and sauces, one all on your condiments and seasonings, spices and seasonings, one all on cookies, one all on crackers, whatever. I mean, I know I've got a cookies and crackers, but it was written 3 years ago, so there's been a hell of a lot more content since then. Cookies alone, I found, I think 30 just like that. So, and there'll be some new content, but mostly it'll just be a collection of those. So they'll just be a little something extra for anyone that is interested. I actually Googled keto butter chicken. Yay! Down the bottom of page 1. Watch me go. You can check in another few months. Okay, awesome. Mrs. Start, where can I find? Yeah, okay. So I think I've answered everybody's questions. If you've got any last minute questions, jump on now. For anyone, the roundup, we were showing the pastry. This one is the Lasagne Pasta pastry from the new cookbook Slow Cook Keto, which is currently in pre-order. If you order the hard copy now, you get the ebook immediately. For anyone knowing all about ebooks, you click on it. It's a PDF file. It will open up. You save it to your device. If it doesn't open up into your browser immediately, copy and paste the link into another browser. It'll be your browser or your server blocking it. It is just a link. It's not mine blocking it. You'll get the same link as everybody else. There's nothing different about your link, so it will work. It's been tested a lot of times. So, yeah, you can get that. We used a few different things that I said that you could find on eBay and Google's and stuff like that. I showed you, which is buried underneath here, the lattice pastry maker, which is probably a little bit crappy now that I put my my MacBook on it. So it can make lovely lattice shapes. That's pretty dodgy now that it looks there, but that's that one. I got that one off eBay for less than $10. Pastry docker, great for pizza bases and stuff like that. When I cook a pizza base, even with this dough, if I was going to cook this as a pizza base, I would roll it out, cut it using a large dinner plate or one of my large, where did I put my little cutter? My large cutters. I've got a bigger one than this, so this is my small one, but I could use a big one for a pizza, or I can do individual ones. Then I just roll this over the crust. and then I throw it onto a hot pizza stone directly, like straight onto it, and I cook it for a few minutes at 240, 250 degrees. Then I pop my pizza toppings on it. For wraps, I buy the tortilla ring. This was actually bought, this one I actually got from Essential Ingredients, sorry, but Dave bought the bigger one, which is also available in this size, off Amazon. So we just got those delivered. For your Thermomix people, I think all of the lids are the same, except for the center caps. You've got a pastry cutter here on your lid. Just turn it over, press down onto your pastry, cuts out a perfect pastry round. So there's another pastry round cutter, or you can just upturn any size plate, cut around it with a trimmer. These are always handy little things to have with any pastry work or fathead work. I got this one from Amazon. I've also got the green one for Thermomix there, but I bought this one with like a few different scrapers and that for icing cakes and stuff like that, and doughs. I find these invaluable because I use these on my silicone mat, no knives, because I use very sharp knives. Other things that I get on, I just got this one off Amazon too, which is some little shapes. So we've got rectangles, squares, triangles, hexagons, octagons, all those sort of things. Great for making little pastry shapes, which I did like these little octagons today. I've done them as crispy ones so they can, when they go into soup, they'll actually turn into well, they're not crispy, but they're soft, as you can see. But when that goes into soup, it's like a perfect noodle. So like I did the alphabet one in the new book, but that's sort of like just a different shape. The alphabet ones, I got this one from Cake Boss. You can get similar, I think, from Big W, or just go to Amazon and stuff like that. They're just alphabet pastry cutters, or Caker's Warehouse is another supplier that I buy a lot of silicone molds and stuff like that from. And that is all I bought, all I used in tools. So they're all handy things to have. I'm not giving you any links, so they're nothing I get discounts on or anything like that. Or I am affiliated with some of these companies, but you know, they're there for you to easily find. They're nice and cheap and easy to use. Oh yeah, and where do I find no sugar dark chocolate, please? Okay, so tomorrow there is no sugar with Well Naturally at Woolworths or Coles, but we will be releasing a new recipe soon too. If you've seen some pictures, we've been testing one of the recipes that I've already done. I'm going to try a couple of other ones. I love the one that I've already done. It will probably be done straight up as a choc chip, but I've done all the way through from a basic dark chocolate right through to ones with collagen, inulin, protein powders, essential oils, all those different things to make different flavorings and stuff like that too. And one of our testers, Linda, even tested our chocolate mousse cake the other day with the mousse even made with the dark chocolate from it, and that as well too. And that all turned out perfect, so that was good. I got my alphabet shapes from House, yes, and there's so many good things at House as well. We have one of those local, Chocolate Vitalworks or iHerb, Choc Zero after 30th September. Choc Zero is also available from Yo Keto, which is in Australia. But apparently not the best stuff to get. Would love to know the supplier. Okay, so Helen, yeah, sugar-free chocolate from Coles or Woolies, Well Naturally is the best. It's sweetened with erythritol. It doesn't have maltitol in it. And a chocolate ebook. I think after I make the chocolate, probably, I don't even know. Have I really done that many chocolate recipes? I could have. That's funny. Okay. I think I'll let you all go. I'll clean up my disaster zone of a kitchen. I was actually planning on writing a few easy recipes today for the website. I'm trying to get in front on the recipe writing and that. You've got no idea how long it takes, because most recipes take at least a day to write and edit, let alone all the cooking time, photography edits and all that sort of stuff. So you're talking a lot of time into each free recipe that goes onto the website, and I'm trying to get in front and I've got nothing up my sleeves, literally. Okay, so I want to see lots of pastries, lots of lasagnas, things like that. The last night's lasagna in the new book is amazing, by the way, and it is stupid simple. So that's a good recipe to make or start with. But yeah, like I said, you can make these with cannelloni and stuff like that. So the Philly chicken and that can go in them. These are for easy enchiladas and stuff like that too. Roll them up, bake them, done. But Dave will be happy. We've got at least a couple of wraps there. Although he probably wants his fish cakes because he's been locked out the kitchen all this time. Anyway, thanks for joining in. I'm going to come around and turn it off. If you'd like to see some more lives, just comment below in the thread, and I'll try and do one a week where I pick something really simple like this with ingredients that majority of you are at home with. Or we could even do it as a Zoom where it's only a limited number of people that can come in and we can interact. So if you want to do that, let me know and I'll create an event. We'll just try and work something out so we can have some fun in the kitchen making simple stuff. Anyway, and if you want to buy the new cookbook, remember it's a limited release. So there will be no more after the stock is delivered. The stock is limited. We want to sell out. We want to sell out of all of our books. I only want to do new stuff and not have a house full of cookbooks. So that is the plans for the future. But if you buy any of our cookbooks at the moment, you will get the immediate download of the ebook free, so you can start cooking straight away like our lovely lasagna pasta. Anyway, thanks again. And have a lovely Sunday, everybody, and a great week ahead.